Hey ATM fam, welcome back. Today I'm going to do another video in my unidentified missing persons, also known as Jane or John Doe. So look up that playlist on my channel. I've got several videos there. This is the latest one. We're going to see the sketch of the decedent. This is a sketch by Trisha Blair. Shout out to Trisha. And while you're looking at this gentleman's face, I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. He was discovered deceased on September 18th, 1999. Now I'm gonna really ruin the name of the city, and I'm sorry. In Immokalee, Florida, which is in Collier County. Listen, I'm almost sure that's not the pronunciation of it. If you know how to pronounce this city, Immokalee from Collier County, Florida. Leave it in the in the comments below for me, please, because I am terrible with names of cities. Anyway, he was discovered in that city in Florida. He had been deceased about 24 hours when they discovered him, so he had a recognizable face, and his cause of death is probably alcohol poisoning. Now, he was 50 to 65 years old, Hispanic male, about 5'5", 135. He had black hair, a mustache, and a slight beard and brown eyes. He had a 1.5 inch linear scar on the right lower quadrant of his abdomen from an appendectomy. In other words, he'd had his appendix removed. And he also had multiple linear scars on the posterior aspect of the left forearm. Let me translate that from medicine to plain English for you. He had lots of scars on the back side of his left arm between his elbow and his wrist. The back side is the side with the hair on it. The side that you see if you have your palm face down. Okay? If you have your palm face up, that's the anterior side of your arm. If you hold your hand out and you turn your palm face down, that area between the wrist and the elbow is the area we're talking about. On his left arm, he had multiple linear scars. In other words, scars that were straight lines on that left forearm. He didn't have any dental records available, but his teeth were all his own, and they were in good condition. His fingerprints are available, and they've got a DNA sample, but it isn't known right now if the DNA has been submitted to Othram or any of the other labs for maybe take a look at genealogy and so forth. And I'll tell you in a minute why that's important. He was wearing black pants, a blue and white striped button-up t-shirt with a front chest pocket, and white underwear. He didn't have any jewelry, and the personal items on him were $1.77, a brown wallet, and 3 keys. Now, what makes this John Doe so interesting is they talked to the people who were last with him, and they know where he lived, but they don't know who he is. And here's why. The decedent, which is the John Doe, and his friends were drinking the night of September 17th, which was the day before he was found, at one of the friends' homes between 8 p.m. and approximately 10:45 p.m. The friends that were with him reported seeing him go into his home on South 7th Street after he left his friend's house. So they're all drinking in the neighborhood. You can see on the map, the close-up of South 7th Street that I have, that there is looks like a little subdivision, and South 7th Street takes a jog just north of that area and then continues on into that area. And I'm going to guess that that's the section of South 7th Street that they were on, perhaps. And he was at a nearby home drinking on the night of September 17th at about 10:45 p.m. He went to his own home just down the road, and then when one of his friends tried to wake him up the next morning, he was unresponsive. The friends reported that the decedent had been drinking heavily the night before, and he was known to be a heavy drinker. Now here's something else interesting that we don't usually have. The decedent was originally tentatively identified as Candelario Talavera or Candelario Ambrosio. These names were both proven to be false. The decedent reportedly told these friends that he was from Mexico, which is where his estranged family still lived. But remember, this is in 1999. That's a good while ago, and some of his family could be here now. Some of them could have submitted some DNA, just to find out some more about themselves. And if the law enforcement would submit his DNA now to get some forensic genealogy, then perhaps they can find a match. The issue is forensic genealogy is expensive, and especially, I'm sorry to say this, especially for John Doe with a case as old as this is, even though that may be their only avenue to find an answer, it may be too cost prohibitive for them to consider. Now there's several investigating agencies listed, and I can give you in the description box below this video the information. First of all, the Collier County Sheriff's Office, Kristen Adams is the contact person. I've got a case number, an email, and a phone number for Kristen Adams. Also, the District 20 Medical Examiner's Office. The agency contact person there is Marta Coburn. Again, I have a phone number, an email, and a case number. I don't have an NCIC case number for him, but NamUs has a case number, UP as in Paul, 8681. And when it was first, back in 1999, when this case was first submitted, it was a hot case for the Collier County Sheriff's Office, and the former hot case number is 2411. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with the same admonition I always leave you with. If you know something, say something. This is a pretty good artist rendering of the gentleman. If you think you know who he actually is, or if you have some information on him at all, if you were buddies with him back in the neighborhood, back in the day, if he frequented a tavern or a restaurant where you used to work, give the folks a call. Any tip, no matter how big or how small, can help identify him, because while his neighborhood friends knew him by two different names, they still don't really know who he is, and we need to give this gentleman a name after all this time. Thank you very much. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I implore you to subscribe to my channel, and if you have a comment, positive or negative, please leave it in the comment section below. All I ask is that you be respectful. And if you know you can help me out with pronunciation of this city in Florida, I'd really appreciate it. In case I come upon it again, I hate to be disrespectful and mispronounce people's names and mispronounce city names and all kinds of things. So I appreciate your help. I know his family, wherever they are, is missing him. Somebody's missing him. His friends are, still concerned, still don't know who he is, really. So help us out, would you please? As always, any help you can give me, or any help you can give the people investigating this case, are greatly appreciated. And until next time, bye.